Begin Within Ministries proudly presents Sofa Sundays with your hosts, Reverend Dr. Michelle Izuglu and Reverend Jeannie Sovereigns. Sundays at 11:11 a.m. Arizona time and rebroadcasts on Mondays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Come join us on the sofa every Sunday morning. Sofa Sundays with Michelle and Jeannie. Learn more at www.beginwithinministries.com. In partnership with New Thought Media Network.
Live. Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing this morning?
Good morning.
Yoo-hoo!
We lost all live music cams today because our fancy camera doesn't whatever. That's fine. You can see the whole set now. We look very far away. Can you hear it? Nice sound check lyric, whose birthday was last week. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Would you please bring us, I need a pen, honey. Let's see if I can fix this camera. But
And go Mercury.
It does.
That's the camera for us, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so thank you. So as you can see, we have a very special guest today. I'm so excited to welcome back our dear friend Deb Covington. Super happy that you can join us. She's always like, yes, I'll get on there and talk stuff with you. Someday we'll have you on here when we have Jeannie too. I think that would be really fun.
Well, I was here that one time. You couldn't get a word in twice.
Oh my goodness! You did do that already. It
was a lot of fun.
We do talk a lot. Or Jeannie talks a lot. Oh my goodness, but we're excited to be here. We say hello to Red Jeannie. Hopefully she's watching us. That's great. She's on Big Cave, sending pictures on Facebook. They look wonderful. And we have some friends in the house, so we're happy you all are here. We love everyone that joins us. Thank you for being there out in the ethers with us. And if you're local, you can still get here. You're not late to the sofa at any time. So if you're on your way, sometimes things run late. We just say, just come anyway. Just believe the energy is wonderful here. And we made our time at 11:11, so you could go to another service, you could do other things in the morning, and then still make it here. So you're never late. We love having you with us. Anything else? What else? Oh, and where are we located today, boys and girls? We are at the location of the very famous and well-known Reverend Dr. Michelle Whittington, who has her work and practice in this very spot, and we're so grateful that she allows us to host our Sofa Sundays here. She supports our ministry that way, and we couldn't be more grateful for, it's going on 3 years of support now from her, and so this is a great place to call home for our ministry, as well as what she has going on here. So if you're interested in, she's got feminine presence classes, she's got your best year yet class, it's on its 3rd year also. She's got Not Always Renews, and there's a whole group that goes through that, and she does other things as well. I know prosperity class she had, purpose, she always is doing something. And she's probably the greatest mentor I've had in my journey, and I know many people would say the same thing. So if you haven't experienced Reverend Dr. Michelle's work, or even if you have, I highly recommend you check out her website, which is Unleash Your Life. So unleashyourlife.us is her website, and you'll see all the things that she has going on here, as well as you can rent this space too. You know, if you're looking for a really cool space, you're in a room that holds 25-ish people. There's another room that holds, it's great for like a small group, and it's a wonderful place to host things. And I've hosted lunch and learns here and things like that. We've had the Tibetan monks here. We've had all kinds of things happening here. So highly recommend checking out that site for a multitude of reasons. But we love you, Reverend Dr. Michelle. We thank you so much for everything you've done for us. And let me think. Oh, and it's at 7220 North 16th Street, right in Phoenix. Easy to get to, Route the 51. So And again, if you're driving and you go, oh, maybe I'll just run over there right now. You got coffee? There makes great coffee. And coffee and hugs first thing, well, middle thing on Sunday morning. I've already been to the gym and to the church service my husband's been checking out for himself. I've already been to both of that this morning, and then went to breakfast. And now I'm here, and I'm like, oh my goodness, how much longer is this day?
And we're so glad you are.
But I'm so glad I'm here. Yeah, I wouldn't miss this for anything. So, let's get straight in, and then we'll start talking about the last topic for our Harmony and Peace theme, which is all of September. It's the last weekend of September. I don't even know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. Do you want to pray us in? Feel like so? All right, let's do this.
Okay, let's get settled in. If you feel comfortable, close your eyes. Take a deep breath. As I know that there is just one source, one power, the original creative source. I also know that each and every one of us are of that source. For we were created by the one original.
And I know the first step begins within.
I choose at this moment to focus on the frequency of love and peace, calling forth that from within each and every one of us. And as we breathe deeply into these frequencies, it is expanded out into the world. We connect with each and every soul, each and every being, sharing that frequency of healing, love, and peace. And I know that each and every person that is in the sound of our voices today hears exactly what they are asking for, and that which they are hoping to receive. And that includes myself. And as we are going through our day today, that which we have received will remain. And as I send these words out into the universe, I know that the answer is always yes. 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 And with deep, deep gratitude, I say thank you. Thank you to the one power. Thank you to each and every being. And so it is. So it is.
Love that. Thank you so much. I love how you said in that prayer, Deborah, you said calling forth love and peace. And that goes really well. That goes really well with our today's topic, which is every step I take is a peaceful. And I just like to show it like this so that we can reach out and have a cup. I have one next. You come here, you can have a cup. These are really fun to collect. You collect all of them too for every year. So the topic, the overall arching theme for the month was harmony and peace. Today's topic being every step I take is a peaceful one. And when you said calling forth, you said love and peace. And I love that because calling forth within ourselves, but calling forth from other people. And when we're looking around, I don't even want to get into that, but when we're looking around at the stuff going on, like as soon as you said it, people go, oh yeah, all kinds of things come to mind because there's plenty of stuff going on. Okay? What are you calling? What are you calling for? What are you calling for? What are you sharing back to folks? And a lot of times we tend to get caught up in that mix of things and we call for the chaos or the negativity or the thing that's not right. They you shouldn't do that, and this shouldn't be that. All that's a call for all of that. You focus on that, and we know how powerful we are, powerful beings that we are. We do that, we magnify all that. We give that our attention, and that grows. And so when we're talking about, every step I take is a peaceful life, man, I'd love to embody that. I'd love for that to be every step, every breath, every second, like embodying that. You have to say it to yourself constantly, because everything else around you is talking different, and so it's like a constant job, a constant reminder, and boy, wouldn't it be helpful all the time around you. We're helping you. I know that's another reason we talk about it all the time, having a tribe. And that's why tribe is so important, not for just when you're having a hard time. You need somebody to help you, but for people to help you remember your truth, remember how powerful you are, remember what really you look at. That's also what our tribe does. Is say, hey, yeah, I know it looks like that, but you remember, here's what we really are, what we really are, and here's what's really happening. Bring us, Anne says, bring us back to center. Right. So I feel like it's great. That's a great opening to today. When you started that prayer, because you're calling that forth. You're going to call that forth in this moment.
Real quickly, I wanted to share part of my spiritual practice is certainly by reading something that is very positive and good frequency. And this quote came up not today but yesterday, which
was it before or after I gave you the topic?
It was before.
I knew it.
So when I saw your topic, I was perfect. Yeah. So the quote was, "Be a vibrational creator instead of a situational manipulator."
Can you say it one more time?
Be a vibrational creator instead of a situational manipulator.
Wow.
So the first thing that came to my mind when I saw the subject besides that was,
You said I love it.
yeah, exactly.
That was her text or something. I love it.
I mean, it was so funny.
Yeah.
I think it's important for each one of us to recognize what peace feels like within us. Because I don't want us to think that we should never ever feel upset or discontent because of the things that we see going on in the world. And at the same time, to recognize that it's okay to feel that. But like you said, how much attention am I putting in that? And what does that actually feel like for me to see that?
Yeah.
I don't want to not see it. I want to be aware. And yet, I don't want to live there in it.
Right. How do you be aware? My husband's always saying that, babe, I tell you this stuff, and I need you to be aware. I need you to understand what's going on. I'm thinking, I don't need to. I like to not be aware. And even in becoming I remember becoming a practitioner, even being a minister today, but like, I remember even the practitioner studies that talking about the awareness of what's going on in the world, so you can pray for that. I'm thinking, I don't want to. Yes, because a lot of it's really hard to look at. I have a different, he'll want to show me something. I'll say, if it involves children or animals, I cannot see it. It will haunt me. It's not like it bothers me, it haunts me to where I can hardly function for the whole day. I said, there are angels in this world that is their calling, and they can do that. I can't see that. Sorry, it'll go over here. But, so there's certain things like that I should know, and I should use my superpowers to call forth peace, call forth love. To have those awarenesses of what you're saying around, you can recognize and be aware that these things are happening. But what are you doing about it? What are you doing with it? Are you what does it say? Are you manipulating it?
Right. Am I focusing on manipulating the situation so that I can feel better? Because that's the reason why we try to manipulate. Because it's about ourselves.
I don't want to see. I want to stop. I like like it to stop, so what do we gotta do? What do we gotta do to make that stop? Yeah. And then so how do you stay in peace with it and move forward and know that there is God in, as, and through everything. You believe that, if you say that, then you believe it even when it's something that you're like, there's no way God's there.
Right.
There's no way there's a God in that. That's the hardest time to have faith. That's the hardest time to rest in spirit and say, be still and know that I am God. That's the toughest time.
It is. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so part of, I think, the response is the calling it forth, demanding it show up now, using your powers for that instead of focusing on those things and causing them to grow.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. When we talk about that, we've talked about that before too. If you want more kindness in the world, you have to be it. It begins within. That's why we named our ministry that. Everything begins within. You don't like something going on, then go fix it. But it's not out here to fix. It's in here to fix. It's the hard. Diane says it's the toughest one to get. Sometimes it is hard. There's a lot of things happening, and there's always an aside and a side. But what I find so frustrating is that side gets so angry, and they want the very thing that they're angry about happening to their side to happen to this side. And I don't understand. You're doing the exact same thing. You want the exact same thing, but over here. So how does that make any sense?
It's okay for you to do it.
It's okay for you to do it, but not to be the recipient in that sense. Yeah. And Martin Luther King always, I think that was the most great one of the strongest teachings is hate doesn't drive out hate. Only love can do that.
That's right.
And we know this is true. Instinctively, by experience, by example, we know that is the case. So I don't understand why we still walk around, someone's rude, we're rude right back. Well, I'll give them a piece of my mind. I'll have them eat their own mess. I'm like, what? For what? And so that they can prove that you are what they thought you were, or that the people suck. How are you fixing that idea? How are you changing that perspective? So,
One of the things that I really loved about the Tibetan prayer for forgiveness, forgiveness was the terminology of I forgive their confusion, I forgive my confusion. That word, when I saw that word, I went, okay, that I can do. It's difficult to forgive people of their acts, their actions. But when I took that word in and went, oh, and their actions are based on this, confused in my actions when I did this because I was confused. And I think that's really, for me, that has been really valuable for me to not return to, but to call forth the peace in me when I'm not quite feeling it because of what I see going on or what I feel is going on. Because I think it's important for us to remember that even the things that we're witnessing is all based upon our perception.
say it again.
It's based upon our perception of it. So it's the only way that we can call forth that sense of peace within us is to recognize that we're receiving something, and maybe I'm confused about that too. So there's confusion that goes on with this because of our human perception. And of course, we know our perception is based on old stories.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we immediately leave the present moment and we jump either to our past, we're angry and feeling sad, or we feel shame. Sad, bad. It's a child, younger self jumps in and takes over. We always joke about that. I always say, I don't want a 4-year-old taking over. I know I love you, but don't run my office. Yes, but please don't drive my car and don't run. Yeah, I know I'm a 4-year-old and like a young teen, like 13, 14-year-old. So I've identified these two places. And it doesn't mean you don't have to have trauma to have an inner child.
That's correct.
You have to have confusion around an emotion that gets stuck there. It's like a little pin in it. So then that comes back up again, and you like it, drags you right back to that child, and then those are the tools that you use. So you're crying, you're throwing a temper tantrum, you're stomping off, go sulk in your room. All of that looks and is a child's behavior. And so it's like, what are we calling forth when we do that? Like, what are we're jumping into this, the present moment's happening, but we're jumping back here, or we're running up to the future, freaking ourselves out, terrorizing ourselves.
And I would like to interject, and at the same time, we can also call forth that 4-year-old innocence. The 4-year-old isn't always throwing a tantrum. There's an innocence of being able to look at the world with a newness of no preconceived perception.
I like that.
That I think is important, because we tend to forget that.
Yeah. Before we had all the layers.
Exactly.
Before we had all the experiences, and we had all this data that jumps out. That jumps out new.
Somebody wants to share. Hey.
All right, we got to share.
One of the things that I try to remember in those moments is that angry, scared, confused child needs love. And, we're kind of good at calming down the people around us, we're struggling. We give our friends that kind of love. We give our kids that kind of love. But gotta remember to turn that inward too, because that's what that child needs.
That's a great insight, because we tend to tell the other child, you'll be fine. Just, busy, or deal with it later, or shove it down. We don't tend to allow. And I know the older I get, I tend to just allow it to come. I'm very good about that. When I've identified those inner parts of myself, kind of allow it to have its say. And I've even said to myself, like, I can feel a little twinge sometimes when I go to clear something, and I get this little twinge on cold nights. What is that? Like, what do you want to just say? What don't you think I can do? What don't you agree with that I said? Oh my goodness. And then I hear whatever it is, and then I'll talk about it to myself. Because I have inner wisdom. I'll be like, I already know, Michelle. I know Yes. Discernment. I know. Right, exactly. Right, and it's so, just to stay, I just finished my book on this, and I forgot to put I'll talk about today, but there is a class next week after church. But I just finished the book all about creating those places in yourself to get you, so that you get back to the present moment and what's actually happening when those areas take over. When the chaos takes over and you're spinning around everything but the present moment. You're just everywhere else. You're in the future, you're in the past, you're telling yourself all kinds of stories, and you're trying to deal with whatever's happening from there, which is not going to be the right response. Because the future hasn't happened in the past, it's not here. What's happening actually right now, and that's where you want to come from. So it's learning how to get yourself back to what's actually happening, and then asking what's my response. And I honestly, I don't know why you've said it now multiple times. Call forth, and every time you say it, my little inside, I feel it. So I kind of like that's a major answer to pull yourself back and call forth that inner wisdom from what's actually happening. And what's my next move? What do I do now with this? Not, oh my gosh, this keeps happening. This is going to happen. Okay, have those moments, but then come back. Here's what's actually happening, and what's my move now? What am I going to do about that? What am I calling? What am I going to call? What's calling forth from me to do about this?
One of the things that I think a lot of people tend to forget again is the fact that no matter what it is, everything we do is for ourselves first. So you cannot do anything. I disagree. It's not selfish. I agree. I disagree with people who say that you can give too much. You give away that you can drain yourself. That's a perception. But if you are able to realize that I don't do anything for somebody else that I'm not doing for me, no matter what it is, good, bad, or indifferent. And that's important to remember, because if we're doing the lower frequency things towards people, we're doing it to ourselves. We're doing it to ourselves first. Everything we do is a reflection of our beingness. And that, when I started recognizing that made a world of difference for me to look at people, and when somebody asks something of me, to be able to go, is this something that I want to do? Is this something I need to do for me? And I never got to that place where I did when I was in my youth, of doing things and feeling neglected and feeling ignored and feeling all of that. Everything I do now, I do because it's for me to do it. And if that person gets something out of it, that's even better. But I had to recognize that it's for me first. And like you said, that's not selfish, that's not self-centered. That's who we are. We are energy that is constantly reflecting who we are, how we're being, how we're expressing ourselves, how our actions are. So when I look at people who are doing things that I perceive are lower frequency, hurtful, hateful, coming from that place that doesn't feel like a peaceful place for me, I first recognize that's not me. That's not who I am. And that probably is not who they are either, because I can see something different for them as well too. And at this time they're confused because they don't see that for themselves. It's that simple. They're confused, they don't see it for themselves. That's why they're not in the same place. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Right, and that's if you have a tribe, your tribe will hold your truth for you during those moments. If you don't have a tribe, that's a hard place to be when you're, they say hurt people, and that's totally true, because whatever's inside, it's the coffee story. You guys know the coffee story? I'm walking with my cup of coffee and someone bangs into me and I get mad because I spilled my coffee. Then you ask, well, why did I spill coffee? Do you know why I spilled coffee? You know the answer, don't you? Because there was coffee in my cup. If I'd had water in my coffee, I would have spilled water. So because I had coffee in my cup, it wasn't the person hugging me. It was that's what was in my cup. It's like when someone bangs into you and you go, oh, no problem. It's because you had the stronger, you had love in your heart, you were in a good mood that day or whatever, it didn't bother you. But if you're having a bad day and you're not up in here and then someone bangs in and you're like, excuse you, oh my gosh, what's your problem?
Yes, I stirred up.
Who is that? Who is that? That's you. Your reaction is you. What they do is them, what you do is you. They are not the reason for you. And that's, always something to be aware of. Like, what they're doing and how I react is my awareness. Like, why did I react? If they're calling me that, Lyric is a perfect example of that. I tell your story a lot, where that one girl in school, when you were really little, called you stupid. Remember that? And you came home and you didn't tell me, your brother told me. And then when I asked her about it, she started crying. And I said, why are you so upset? Why do you think you're stupid? And she goes, yeah, a little bit. I go, you are? She goes, yeah, sometimes in math. I go, really? Sometimes in math, you're so stupid. And she goes, yeah, sometimes I said, well, what part of math do you think you're stupid in? She goes, well, sometimes I don't know how it's hard. And I said, really? I said, what's 4 times 3? She goes, is it 12? I said, yeah, so what's 12 divided by 4? She sits there and she's thinking, she goes, 3? I go, yeah. She goes, that's it? I go, yeah, that's it. She goes, oh my God. I said, right, so are you stupid in math, or did you just not know that? She goes, yeah, no. I said, right. The only reason why you're upset is because somewhere you thought you were. It doesn't matter what people say to you. What if she had said, I hate your blue hair, would you be mad? She's so little, so cute. She's like, well, I don't have blue hair. I go, right. So would you be mad? She goes, no. I go, right, because you don't think that's true. You thought that you thought that was true somewhere in you. So when someone says something to me and I get triggered by that, if I'm in my right space, I'm not perfect at it, but if I'm in my right space, I've been prayed that day, I'm having a good day, right? My mind will go, why does that bother you? Where is it that you think that that's true? Because most people will say things to me, and I just don't really care, honestly. My husband always says, I hope to be like you one day where it doesn't bother me when people do this or that. I'm like, I don't really care what they do. I really don't care. And I'll say, who are they to you? Are they someone important to you? Someone you're ever going to see again? Someone you want to be friends with? No, then why do you care? Because something in here is firing off.
Your opinion is none of my business.
Thank you. That's the saying I was trying to get. Your opinion is none of my business, right? So what do I think about me? That's the big deal. So it's a learning and it's a practice and it's an awareness. And it's that calling that forth. What is being called forth in me when someone bangs into me? What's being called forth in me when I'm watching this crap that's happening on the news? What is it? Is it hateful? Is it love? Is it let me help? Let me find a solution? What do I do? What is it? If it's you're saying something that you don't like and it causes dislike in you, you're just creating that same energy. That was Mr. Rogers, Fred Rogers' mom, who said, don't look at all that. Look for the heroes. There's always heroes.
Right.
She taught him to look for the love, to look for, yes, it was awful, but look for the love. There's always that too. It's always there. That's right. But what are we focusing on?
The dark.
We're focused on the dark because it's pretty loud. It's actually really loud and it's awful. But there's a lot of good that's happening. I don't want bad things to happen, and I certainly don't want what's happening now to happen to anybody, either side, or nobody. And at the same time, what would heroes do? What would, doctors and nurses and all those things exist because these things happen. And that gives them their calling, their way to help, their way to show the other side of things. So I think it's all the same coin. We just are choosing to look at the negative side of the coin a lot of the time. And we're not giving our energy to the positive side of the coin and putting our energy there. And so then that other side gets to be the only side we're looking at. It certainly does seem like all there is, if that's the only side you ever see.
Yeah, I love the way you put that, because the coin represents creation. And as we have labeled it as human beings, we call that energy. Well, energy has all different properties of negative and positive throughout it all the time. You can't have one without the other.
Right.
And that's what I keep telling myself. I can't have one without the other. There is a purpose for the loudness of all negativity that we are now seeing and hearing going on in our world right now. And the understanding is when that particular frequency gets stronger, it's because it's calling forth a balance of the opposite, which we would see as high frequency, positive. It's calling forth that for people to come forward to really bring that forth as part of evolution. It's just part of our evolving as human beings, And so, while it's difficult to look at all this and not feel, for me, and not feel the emotions of it at times, I then take the time to breathe through it, because sometimes it's hard to even breathe through the experience of it. And then remind myself there is a purpose for what's going on. I want to be part of the purpose. I want to be consciously part of the purpose for what's going on. And that purpose is to keep reminding me over and over again. Yes, this is going on in this experience that we're having here. And what's your perception of it? My perception of it is either we're lost, and a lot of people say this is the end of humanity coming up. And I look at that and go, no, this is the evolution of humanity. And I want to be part of that evolution. To look at this and go, I'm breathing through this and I feel love. I feel love. I feel what peace feels to me is calm and love. With recognizing also what's going on, not denying anything.
Yes.
Not denying that I felt uncomfortable with this. And I can breathe through it and go, okay, this is me doing my part for me and the rest of the world as well.
Exactly. That is, people don't realize how powerful that is.
Right.
That is such a big deal. To be able to control the emotional state and then pray and have your meditative time and put out what we want to be seeing more of.
Yeah.
You know?
So real quickly, let's talk about when you're in a position, because some people really feel called to stand up and speak up. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't want us to think that the only answer is to be in solitude and prayer and in isolation from what's going on. That's not the calling for everybody. It is powerful, it's important. It's also powerful for us to use our voices. The thing that I want us that I think about that is if I'm using my voice, what am I feeling? And am I at peace when I'm feeling that? Or when I'm speaking my voice? Or am I feeling like I'm fighting against what I don't like, what I don't want? That's not peace. That's not peace. And that's the difference. I think people oftentimes speak up because they're angry about what's going on. And that doesn't, to me, that doesn't feel like the answer to it, because the anger, like you said, the anger feels the anger. And the hate of what you see going on feeds the hate of what's going on. You know, so I think that's probably the most important thing that I'm getting out of this for myself is when I do feel called to speak up. Where am I coming from in speaking up? And is it okay for me to sit and hear somebody else say exactly the same opposite of me and go, I hear you and I understand where you're coming from, and that's it. And really feel that. Instead of going, oh, no, you're wrong. You have to be wrong.
Yeah.
You know? So that's a difficult place for us to be in, and I think that's a really important aspect for us to get and to learn.
I agree.
Well, there's so many different ways to respond to, let's say, this, chaos that's happening in the world. And like a lot of times my tendency is to not connect with it, just kind of ignore it. And I've had people say, well, you're in denial about what's going on. No, I'm just choosing not to give energy to it with my anger, my upset. I believe that divine right order will have things moving in the right direction. And it doesn't feel like it's happening right now. But I know that's what's in the cards, is that everything will right itself. So it's not so much that I'm in denial about what's going on. I just don't choose to focus on that. I focus on what I can impact and what I can touch.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I know people that will someone who I know is a spiritual leader watches and listens to the stuff every day. And I'm like, I can't do that. Like you were saying. But I will check in every now and then. Sometimes once a week, there's really something big going on. Sometimes once a week. But I will check in with specific things that I will watch that I feel comfortable watching. And what I want to know. Exactly. Yeah. And so I tend to choose programs that appear in my perspective to be kind of both sides of the story that's going on, instead of one-sided, and we'll do less of the hateful talk against, and just give facts as they know it to be. I understand that we don't know all the facts, and I don't think we'll ever know all the facts about anything. Not now, not in the past, anything. But I will check in. But like you, I won't do it daily. I won't discuss it with most people, especially if I think that they're not open to be hearing both sides. And to just respecting, like I would respect that they have an opinion and their perception, and we do. It comes down to really all we're doing is sharing our perception. There's no right or wrong. We're just sharing our perception. And not everybody's open to other people's perceptions.
And that's very interesting. What I do like is the conversation. And that's something that's bothered me for a long time, is that it's trying to stop us from having conversations, or that,
you don't agree with me, I'm friendly now, kind of post that you see on Facebook sometimes, or just that kind of attitude. Like, we need to talk. We need to see where each other's at, have conversation, understand each other's point of view. You know, or we will have those misperceptions about other people. We will have misunderstandings about this religion or that type of person, or whatever the spin is. We will think that that's the truth because we have not had an encounter with somebody. Right? We're not in communication, you know. And I think that's one thing that is really detrimental to our growth in this human experience is our lack of communicating with people who are not like us. Because we get so angry and people can't seem to do that in a kind, peaceful way. And I remember doing that as a kid. I used to love sitting with somebody who didn't agree with me and just pick their brains. We called it picking brains. Let's just pick brains for a minute. Okay, what do you think? Why do you think that way? What do you think about that? Well, that's interesting. You have that way. And that was it. We were still friends. We just didn't have the same understanding or the same, and nobody needed anybody to believe what they believe. Right? You know, it's just like sitting on doing this work that Jeannie and I do here on the sofa. Even though we're both religious scientists, we don't always agree on everything. We don't always see everything exactly the same. And I don't expect anybody that's listening or watching to feel the same. I don't care what faith you're in. I'm not trying to make anybody anything. Right. I actually don't care what your faith is. I just want to help you. If anything I say helps you, for you, like you, love, that's all I care about. That's all I want. So, we probably differ on lots of things. But can't we still learn from each other? Can't we still live harmoniously with each other? Can't we still give space and grace to each other?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, that doesn't happen if we don't have a chance talk. Can't even communicate, you know? So it's there's so many little tiny things, but they all add up, and they can make it difficult to communicate or to come from a place in our dealings. So it's like trying to understand what's your intention, what you're doing, what's your true action from your heart.
Then I must recognize within the spirit that it's only love.
I think that one of my biggest difficulties in my life is dealing with intention and control and anger. And one of the reasons I stay off of Facebook and or other social media is because it just seems to enrage people and people just spit out everything. It can be most innocuous, they can be out a puppy. And some people come back with this negative remark and justify as crazy. So I don't know if that's all burying my head in the sand or what, but I just can't do social media for that very reason. Because I can eat the news, I don't do the news, but I can't do social media either. Because I can't stand the intolerance and the negativity. And I'm not saying it's all like that, but that's what I tend to see out there. And so I just choose not to get involved. And hopefully, and I miss a lot of things because I miss announcements and friends posting things that I probably should know about that I don't. But I would rather miss that than just keep alive by this anger and difficulty of the world.
I'd like to share something with you about that. I was that way at first too. And I still today don't spend a lot of time on social media, but not because of that. I simply don't, because I work on a computer all day long. That's my business. I don't want to spend time on the for messaging. But I will go every once in a while. And you know, it's interesting about social media, especially in particular Facebook. Because when I post, I only post positive things. And I don't post my opinion about anything other than what's going on in my life. And I get maybe one or two people who will post things that are negative about what's going on in the world. But I don't get overwhelmed with it because that's not the algorithm. And algorithms are energy. That's not the algorithm that I'm putting into it. It doesn't see me say anything about what's going on in the world. So I don't get bombarded with all of that stuff. And I didn't recognize that until you were just saying that, and I went,
That's because that's the energy that I'm putting out there, because I don't go and talk to everybody about what's going on, and my opinion and my perception on what's going on. I might say, oh, wow, I saw this happen, and then I leave it at that, or sometimes I might say, gosh, I'm really hurting today, and I know that has a lot to do with what's going on in the world. But I don't put perception out to anything about it, and so that doesn't, and I'm not saying that's for everybody, I'm just saying, I just recognize it. That's why I don't get bombarded with all of that, because I don't put that out there. I refuse to.
Yeah, and you can also unfollow people
Absolutely.
that post something that does bother you, but you don't have to unfriend them. So they're still friends with you, you just don't want to see their feed. And I've had to do that. I've had people that have posted, negative things or like crude things where I'm like, good grief, I don't get it. So like I just unfollow their stuff as it coming into my feed, But yeah, I'm really particular about that too. I don't want to see some of this stuff. I'm not interested in negative. I'm not on there for political things. I'm not on there for religious things. I'm not on there for anything. I'm very just neutral. Mostly I use Facebook because I print out my Facebook in a book every year, and then I have like a scrapbook of it every year. So everything I post on there is with the intention of going I'm going to print it as a keepsake for my children of their lives, because I don't keep a photo out there anymore. Yeah. It's very cool. It's called Social Book, in case anyone wants to know. It's called Social Book, and it literally will grab every picture, all the comments, and video. It will do a QR code if you post any videos. So you can just click on the QR code and go to the video. I don't know how long that will last. Maybe 10 years from now that won't work anymore, but for right now it works. But the pictures are excellent quality. The books are excellent quality. They're so nice. And to see all the comments, like on birthdays, I'll post maybe a birthday, they'll have all these birthday things. I mean, how fun for them to go back and look at that. So I'm the same way. And my husband will look at my Instagram and be like, who's the best? See, I don't get this stuff. You have this, you this. And I'm like, well, it's because he'll go over there and if someone says something, he gets on there. Don't say that. This is not right. Well, he like gets in these arguments trying to fix everything. And I'm like, so that's why you get that, because it thinks you are interested in that. And he's he'll press us like, oh, get off there. I don't want them to think I like that. So he's jumping off of it. So cute. But yeah, it will. If you look at something for more than a couple of seconds, it suddenly thinks you like that. So it triggers it. You gotta get off that as fast as you can. But it takes a minute to get it to stop. And just to unlike anything, anytime something comes up and you don't appreciate it, you can click on the little dots and say, hide this from my feed. And it'll say this or anything like this. And it'll say everything like this. And you want to see that. And it will stop allowing certain things to come in your feed. So then you will be able to get just your friends closer, and you'll get a lot less of that other stuff. So yeah, I had to do that too. I had to clean up that Facebook was kind of ugly for a while. I had to get rid of it.
I used to stay in touch with family and friends that don't live close by anymore. That's really what I use it for, because I have a lot of family that are around the country, and that way I get to do touch with them.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you decide to ever do it again, just those things are important. And you can also not just let everybody be your friend. You can just say, no, I only want these people and nobody else. I'm not just letting I don't let just anybody come into my feed because I've got my children on there. And I don't want just anybody, it's not, I don't publicly post anything with them. Everything with them is a private post, which only the people in your feed can see. And then everything, so if somebody tries to, even somebody who is a friend, tries to share it to somebody that's not my friend, they can't see it because I haven't given that sharing permission. So that's a cool thing that you can go through. And when I realized that years ago, I unfriended a lot of people that I didn't know. I had just been in business with friends and be my friend, and I wasn't realizing that these people are the I don't want them to watch my world, so I got rid of them. That can lead to a lot of stuff on its own. So yeah, that stuff's tricky, because I agree, I don't if Peter didn't live in the house, I don't think I'd know anything. Because I don't want to watch anything. I don't want to listen to anything. I don't want to know anything. It's very hard for me to know anything like that. But I am aware, and I'm glad I know. I just don't see it or read it. He gives me a very vanilla version of what's happening, What else was I going to say? I think this is a very intentional thing to be aware about. every step I take is a peaceful one, you know, or a loving one, or a kind one, or a step that's taking me here. I just talked about this weekend. You know, every breath you've got two choices. Am I going toward the life I want, or am I going away from the life I want? Every time I make a decision, am I going toward the life I want, or away from the life I want? So it's living very intentionally, and not just by default, not just by reactions and my programming, and trying to intentionally move in a certain way. And you're not going to get every breath right, or not like that, but like it is a constant reminder and a constant practice, like where like you just thinking to yourself, like, do I want to do that or not? Is that moving me in the direction for me? Even though I love Michelle and she wants me to do this with her, I love it with her, but what about me? Is that taking me over here? Or if I say yes to that, what am I saying no to now? Now I don't have time to do the thing I really want to do myself. Sometimes those choices are hard because I know you want to be me.
I always would be with her.
So sometimes, but it is. It's so that's intentional. It's not, oh, Michelle asked me to do this, I'm just going to go.
That's because, you know, I tried.
Yeah.
If
So
you were
you
part
feel
of my
that way.
life, there would be times where I would go, no, I'm not today.
Right. Right? But because I am, you might get a little sidetracked and say yes to something without thinking. You're just like, oh, what's Michelle supposed to say? Forever Dr. Michelle calls me and says, I need you to help me with this. Do you think, or she doesn't say that, she'll say, do you think that you might have, I mean, I know you're very busy, but we're looking at this, I'm like, yes, Michelle. Yes, Michelle. Whatever it's saying. You know, it's a stock answer, yes. Just what do you want? She'll go, oh, goody, I was hoping you could say that. Like, you're not going to say yes. You're going to say no to that woman. But what am I saying? What can't I do now? Because I only have so many hours in the day, whatever. So it's, I think part of the awareness is being aware. And then trying your best to move intentionally as best as you can. And checking in with yourself. This is peaceful. Is it not peaceful? If I'm going to speak my voice, am I peaceful? Am I not peaceful? What energy am I perpetuating? What am I focusing on? What am I using my powers for? Hopefully for good, or maybe I'm part of the problem today, you know?
Well, it's like that quote, am I creating a frequency, or am I trying to manipulate the situation? You know, if I'm going into a conversation that I feel combative about something you're saying, I'm trying to change you. I'm not sharing. I'm not just sharing my perception. That's why I have time, even though it's uncomfortable. There's many times I do have a few minutes that are very angry and verbalize what's going on, and I just listen. I don't share. I don't say anything. Because I can feel that if I did, I would be combating against what they're saying, because I don't agree with what they're saying, and it doesn't feel comfortable to me. Because I'm not in that place of peace and comfortable. I know I can't come off with the energy of, I'm just sharing that I have a good perception. Now, I can do that with my daughter. You know, because she is very opinionated about what's going on. And I can sit there and hear her say that and go, I hear what you're saying, and I don't feel the same way. And that's all I have to say a lot of times is I just don't feel the same way. If she's interested in the conversation, she will say, well, what do you think will feel about it? So there's a way to go about it like that. I found that I can test whether the person is there to share, or if they just want to give me their perception because they need to feel like they need to.
It's not a great space to hold for somebody.
Oh, it is.
For other people. And sometimes you don't know if you like it or not until you hear yourself say it. That's why they say, if somebody says something to you, if it's rude, don't respond, just say, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Could you say that again? And let them say it again.
That's good.
Oftentimes they can't.
Yeah.
That's why, have you ever done it? Somebody, sorry, what'd you say? They go, no, they can't say it again. Or they recognize it, that was rude. You know what I mean? Because they're just coming from there, they're not intentional, they're coming from their default, they're just reacting and throwing stuff out there and not even realizing the moment you say, I'm so sorry, I didn't hear you, could you say it again, please? They're like, what is freaking, you know? So that's just because we don't have less of ourselves. We're gonna just throwing that out there. Let people hear themselves out loud. What are you saying out loud this year? Let's put it out on a table and let's move it around and see what it looks like, Yeah, I think that's
And you know they're angry when they say, you heard what I said.
You're right. I want to know if you heard it.
Yeah, exactly.
See, that's the beauty of staying in peace and calm. Staying in peace and calm when someone does that to you, because if you can respond in a way that makes them look at themselves. If someone says something to me like that and I respond how they think I will or want me to, then they're right. And it just
They get what they want.
they get what they want. But if I go, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Could you say it again? They react like, no, you heard me. I just want to make sure you heard you. But they're the ones.
I was just going to say that good customer service representatives like that, they can be that angry, shooting out, yelling, and be so calm to what I can imagine in the situation. I've had it happen where I was yelling party and they're so nice and like, they didn't yell at this person.
Right.
And isn't that interesting, because that's something that came into our world through business, and yet it's a very spiritual aspect. And it just shows that there's no separation between anything, everything is spiritual.
Yeah, and that's the hate doesn't dread. If you're mad at me and I go off to be mad at you, nothing's gonna calm down. It's gonna escalate. But if you come at me like that and I keep my calm, that's the only chance we have of you calming down. It's the only chance we have of this conversation getting to a place where you and I can then get a solution and move forward in a better way. So it only takes one person to change what's going on. And they don't even have to know what you're doing. They don't have to know that you're controlling yourself or you're trying to keep yourself in a certain spot while they're losing it, But you can do that. It's kind of fun to do that. If you can keep yourself, in that space, keep yourself in that love and that peaceful space, then it's really cool. And then everybody can come back down into the present moment together and then take care of what needs to be taken care of.
In my youth, when I was having marital issues, I went to a counselor, and she was a very spiritual counselor. I didn't know that at the time. I didn't recognize it at the time, but it was time because she really helped me in touch with my spirit. And I was complaining about the fights and the arguments going on in the marriage and all this difficulty and stuff. She said, maybe this will help you understand life is a dance. We're just dancing partners. And she goes, if you don't like the fact that we dance, stop dancing. And I went, I could just smile. And she goes, yes, try it. She's like, try it. You don't believe me, try it. And next she goes, go home this week until I see you next week. Every time something comes up that you feel like you don't like the way that dance is going, just don't react to it. Don't even respond. Just say nothing. And I did that, and it worked. And I mean, that stuck with me. I'm like, wow, that is so simple, and that's so powerful. And there's so many areas of our life that there's the reality of it is so simplistic that we try to make it so complicated. I remember the first time that I spent time with she was channeling and Esther Hicks. And when she was channeling, the most important thing that I heard out of everything that was said that day was the Spirit said, life is meant to be simplistic and enjoyment. And they said, and you all try to make it so difficult and complicated that you miss the enjoyment of it. And I went, and all those old sayings, don't sweat the small stuff, all that stuff came up to me, and I'm like, this has been said to me over and over again, but I didn't quite get it until just then, and I went, at least that makes it. That's why I'm not always there. Like you said, I'm not always there. And every once in a while, I'll get caught up in the minutia of stuff and get,
start feeling the bogging down of it, you know, and then do my spiritual work, and I hear that voice, and you know, you're making it too difficult. It's really simple. Just find your time. There's always time.
It's true. We add on too many things. We take on too many bills. We take on too many. We say yes to too many things, and we do. We just get so much that we can't enjoy what's right there in front of us. What's going on right now? I know. How are you doing?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Complete.
Did you feel complete? Anything else out there? Out there, everybody. How about you? Are you feeling
Good.
good? Well, every step I take is a peaceful one. Let's make that a challenge this week and see how we do. Yeah, just be intentional with it. It doesn't be every step. You know, but you know, every other step.
We do the best we
We
can.
do the best we can. We can skip.
As
We
long
can
as
skip
that's the
now. You can
intention.
skip now too. Just get it. Get her done. People. Get her done. Okay. Let's do what's up right now. Take a deep breath. Let's come into this moment, recognizing one power, one energy, the source of it all. It is peace, it is love, it is joy.
What if my heart opened to everything with love? What if
That's all there is. There's only one.
What if my mind accepted everything?
Each one of us, we are a reflection of that. We are an expression of
that shines in all of us. And what if
Therefore, we are that peace, that joy, that love. We are the life of God expressing through each of us, in, as, and through us. Therefore, it is ours to do. It is our work to bring the peace, the joy, the love into the world, through us, as us. So from that truth of our knowing, I speak my word for our time today. I speak my word for everyone in this room and everyone that will hear the sound of my voice. Knowing that as we allow ourselves to be intentional with our movements, with our voices, as we allow ourselves to be intentional with our life, we move in peace. We speak from peace. We move in love. We speak from love. We are the kindness we want to see. We are the kindness we want to experience. We need only need it. And it is there. As we allow ourselves to embody that, recognize that, we live in that we are. That love, that peace, that joy, that connection, the laughter, the joy, all of it is right there in our experience. We move with the dance of it. We enjoy it all. We allow it. And I'm so grateful for this truth. I'm grateful for each one of us, for our part in everything. I'm grateful for our time together, for our sharing, our connection. And so I let it go, know and trust that it's all been done in the mind of God, and it's all blessed. And together we say, and so it is. Well now, as we go back out into this hopefully rainy again day, we can get some good rain out here in Arizona. I don't know about the rest of everybody, wherever you all are. What? Oh, can we get Abby home and Ben And then we can have some rain. Yes, so sorry, Abby. Yes, we'd like to get Abby home first, please. So in about an hour, so yes, we can have a 1:30 rainstorm would be fabulous for me. How can we support you? Oh, well, you can support me, Ann. You can support this wonderful ministry of ours. If you have felt fed today spiritually, if you have learned some things, if you have felt that this helps to better your life, we would love your support in getting our message out to let people know that we're here. You can do that so many ways. You can like this feed, you can share with others, you can bring visitors, you can show up here in person because we all like hugs, and you know that we all need lots of hugs to survive and thrive every day out in this world. So become part of this community. And if you like and share and comment and even put those little fun gifts on there, that just lets the Facebook, Instagram, YouTube algorithms know that there's stuff going on here that people are appreciating, and then that algorithm shares it as well. So if you could help us out with that, that would be wonderful. Also, if you are able to, we appreciate helping out financially, and you can do that in a couple of ways, either by just a one-time donation at our beginwithinministries.com website. You scroll down and there's a place down below where you can do a one-time donation. And if you would like to be a part of this community on a more permanent basis and become a spiritual church club partner, we do accept that monthly payment, and that's $45 for an individual or $75 for a couple or family. So we really appreciate any support that you can offer us as we grow this ministry and be a voice out in the world for that peace and love that we talk about all the time. And we're here to support you. If you need anything, please do reach out to myself, Reverend Jeannie. I know Deb's on the feed too a lot. So if you need anything or you want to talk more, feel free to comment on this post when it's in we have a Facebook group called Sopa Sundays, so feel free to head over there. Also on this YouTube. Love to hear whatever you are thinking and to be of support to you as well. So we thank you so much for being here. Oh, and if you become a partner, you get one of these cool mugs. So just saying, this coffee tastes really good. So we love that you were here today. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much, Deb, for being with us. We always love when you're here on the conversation's always good. And thanks for everyone being here and chiming in. We appreciate it. Love you guys. See you next Thursday, or next Sunday, next Tuesday. Next Sunday in Rev Jeannie will be back.
Thanks for watching. Tune in again next week at 11:11 a.m. Pacific Time, or Monday evening at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. In partnership with New Thought Media Network.